When through the cracks a mission falls, you call upon the bastard Smols, a snarky pack of ne'er-do-wells, of which the words to come will tell. With Shifras our tale will begin, his lifelong dream to own an inn. Okosan seeks to spread the word, but secrets lie within this bird. Yuki the fox is a spirit free, as whimsical as she can be. Tedlin is a wizard gnome, a box has called him far from home. Through the ranks they tried to move, but they still had their worth to prove. The board picked clean by the elite, they cast off jobs thrown at their feet. The dawn had called them in this day for a small mission with modest pay. An inn had trouble with the bard, and rats had hit their food stores hard. The four agreed they'd take the work, but leadership they just seemed to shirk. The Don just shrugged and wished them well, but had some notes he had to tell. Okos on signs of pudding praise, got moved to avoid delays. Yuki-eyed pal from front to back, and wondered if he'd make a snack. Tedlin got a bunch of scrolls, but Icy Wieners named it Troll. Shifrost and Prank Cervantes' mom, and moved a pin into his palm. The halls turned out to be a maze that left the quad in quite a daze. B6, 6B, 27Q, all rooms they try before they're through. And now where gone the room was found on arrival. The four looked around, some trouble was upon the stage. A chicken filled the crowd with rage. Barkeep said that was his plight, and asked the four to set things right. The crowd was scanned, the room was red. They tried to solve without bloodshed. The wizard tried logic and talk, but they love me, he did squawk. Bird to bird, a cloud of flies, intimidation seen as lies. The bards teamed up to set things straight. They made the crowd much less irate. Some honeyed words and promised tune, a broken banjo stopped the croon. Crowd appeased and peace restored. The rats and could not be ignored. The inn had lost a few supplies, and had to tell the patrons lies. Okasan left without a trace. El Pudding Diablo took his place. Tedlin gawked, faces met palms. The bet was then agreed upon. Ratfolk found while playing cards. The group they saw had lowered guard. Diablo boldly called to greet, and brought 6 ratmen to their feet. They tried to settle things with words, but Ratfolk thought this was absurd. But they had to Tedlin shock, a perfect match for his lost box. The group told them to stop their raids, despite their best could not persuade. They were upset about this plight, and bared their fangs and dove to fight. Clumsy swings were thrown around, a couple tripped and fell to ground. Shifra smiled and they all glowed, then Tedlin just made one explode. Wizard's box and proved a prank. Try harder, it said as it shrank. Shifra laughed and gained a scroll to lend upon newsletter's roll. Mission done, they got their pay. El Diablo ran away. Okosan then reappeared, Tedlin clueless as they feared. Group went back by teleport. Once settled in, gave their report. The lesson then had been reviewed. You can talk to God, but he'll be rude. A week removed from their first test, the guild would check if Smols were stressed by sending them to see human, more ill-fitted than a true man. Tedlin focused on his box, and nature occupied the fox. Anger issues for the bird, while Shifros found it just absurd. The group seeks an identity, but misses one given for free. The message sent was not received, the name attached was not believed. Diplomacy reset the path without earning bastard Smols' wrath. Course correct, they learned the plight, the week-long wait of Miss Midnight. Rewards were given to the Smols, a jug of endless waterfalls, 2 instruments with power bright, and goggles that would clear the night. A cat was stuck up in a tree, and it was dear old Granny's plea to free the feline from its perch, and maybe give the grounds a search. The tram was rode to Granny's inn, and before the search could begin, Okasan bid us adieu with claim of needing number 2. They shrugged and then pulled bagpipes out, and taking cue from distant shout, Mariachi pipes would sound as EPD came to the ground. Confusion past, they got to work. Tedlin looked up with a smirk. The creature Granny called a cat could kill them in 6 seconds flat. After options were apprised, Tedlin shrank the beast a size. Diablo jumped up to grab the beast, but landing needs work to say the least. Anchovy pizza came by truck, and Granny called her guest a schmuck. She happened to take great offense that food delivered to her demence. Fluffy yowled and scampered off, which meant that Fish the cat had scoffed. So Smols checked the records kept to see which group in which room slept. The Venga boys' accursed bus had precious little to discuss than the morose Sunshine group when fleeing after threat of boob. They revealed no cat-based clues, but for Human had happy news. This group were fans of folks like him. They grabbed their statues on a whim. Next up was the Dragon Colt, who'd gone downstairs for things at Colt. They'd poked and prodded through their room and learned their actions could spell doom. They sought to summon Tiamat, who'd swat them all just like a gnat. To basement with a hurried pace, their time was short to win this race. Diablo kicked open cellar door, it bounced him nearly to the floor. The cultist yelled, "Do not to stab!" But ritual Smols would perturb. Exchange of blows and magic slings almost clipped Diablo's wings, but luck and skill fell to the small, but a bit too slow to stop the call. Luck remained with them that day. The wrong reagent used to pray. Instead of dragon that they dread, spectator summoned in instead. It said Larry was its name, and it was stuck bound to this plane. A purpose soon found cheered it up, and watched the place and clean it up. Granny thanked the four that day and sent them off with extra pay. Oko-san had switched his place and left Tedlin with confused face. The Trem returned to their address, but before they could stop to rest, a tall-winged brunette caught their eyes. She said her job was just their size. 2 weeks spent with fighting rings, a nest built out of many things, a search for a box of toothsome pie, and chef's blood pressure soaring high. A patron crawled upon the Smols to head into a social ball. A minor lord had called for aid to harm his rivals he had paid. A fairy took us from the bay, but caring for bees was their pay. With improv dance and magic song, the worker bees just moved along. The work took time and bees awoke, they were not pleased about the smoke. Yuki switch forms and wizard skill kept them from going for the kill. The druid then apologized. Of dances we were not advised, but before we could seek revenge, our envelope flew to a bench. Our task revealed, we formed a plan, but a witch sent some Adoko-san. Argyle served her ways and means, and with regret she gave us beans. The bird rejoined with little fuss, but a quandary then awaited us. The beans might kill if eaten raw, but Dove still wanted them down his maw. We rode the boat for 2 more weeks to finally reach cobblestone streets of upper crust Victorian, with pegs too high were found within. We came to ruin social rank of elf using kids to fill his bank, a racist dwarf with bloodline pure and snobbish prig with haute couture. Oko-san gets claws done, of course, then takes a stand with show of force. Even with a chance so small, the human target would take that fall. The ball was reached and ticket shown. At Tedlin's name, the guards did groan. The box had gained him enmity, so racist dwarf was blamed with glee. A sapient chest held fancy closed, although the dove felt slightly exposed. Yuki liked her fancy dress, with nature calls easy excess. Group got dressed to blend right in, but before their plans could begin, a hall of mirrors gave a chance for Dove to display his greeting dance. A mobster came with subtle threat, he needed Dove to cover debt. He told the dove to throw a fight, and thus a new plan came to light. They met with Granville and his imp, the competition made him scrimp. Weak points were discussed with haste, for they had little time to waste. Racist dwarf held with like minds, they thought that races should not combine. So outcast elvish urchin sad would run to him and call him dad. Snooty Prig's past was pristine, a debt incurred to more that gleam. The tourney's honor was not small, so she got blamed when they took falls. The snobbish elf was seen as kind, but we would leave him in a bind. With help from rival shouted lines, word spread he put kids into minds. If chaos wrought, Grenville was pleased, his opportunities increased. One last task for Havoc's blame, a portrait torch by wizard flame. Reporters swarmed and marked it all, reputations had begun to fall. Some extra rumors said aloud made their way across the crowd. The rivals dueled and flintlock sang, the crowd felt for the orphan's pain. The fixer's face was soundly slapped, and future work then had us trapped. We took our leave and our full purse before we were linked to that curse. No beans were tried during the trip, and Ted then cursed all the wrong script. The return trip did start with calm, for nerves that need a dose of balm. No honey quests or busy work, but misfortune remained to lurk. The dove he tested safety gear till crew threatened to disappear. Yuki snuck food to the sky to feed the vultures flying by. A barrel held the wizard tight, the missing box was still his plight. That was made much worse, I fear. Fraudulent copies were placed near. Oko-san's rival was named, his cheating made the dove complain. Shifrost brought up use of chairs, and Oko-san claimed that those were fair. A storm soon fell upon the ship, so fore and aft Shifrost did slip. Yuki played as the world's queen, and gambling coin the dove did clean. A thud made Halfling throw his sheet, but he found swamp beneath his feet. The house he saw filled him with dread, and future outcomes filled his head. He crept to Baba Yaga's door, and felt his heart sink to the floor. She smiled and said, "'Tis just a chat," as she made motions with her vat. Pudding lust had earned her gall, but later she would surely call. They found themselves owing a debt, but now they must deal with a threat. Shifrost ran to Captain's ear and told him danger would come near. The crew was roused in time to see a Jolly Roger flying free. Oko-san left for his change, both the bards had looks exchanged. EPD came charging in, his boarders landed with a grin. Captain Bloodclaw knew our names, happy he could win this claim. Stubby the Stomper at his side wanted a piece of Diablo's hide. Stubby's luck was gone this day, for barely seconds into the fray his armor heated to excess, and blinding flash left him helpless. Diablo's eyes had wicked gleam, and in his fist he took a bean. A well-aimed punch of Swobol's jaws, and magic bean right down his maw. Stubby stopped with ragged cries, and as light faded from his eyes, what once was ripped apart. His tree unsprouted from his heart. Raptor quailed upon the side, he left his crew in quite the plight. Cutting losses, ropes, and ties, he once again took to the skies. The pirates caved without a fuss, it seemed they were afraid of us. We placed that crew into the hold, where Wizard's mouth ran uncontrolled. The ferry soon arrived at land, the group was glad for ground to stand. The Nutri friend did break the ride, the road back home they took in stride. A chair-bound dwarf gave battle cry, as brick and mortar filled the sky. A frog behemoth pulled from Chulk gave a wrecked wall as a result. Old Man Snorri's voice wrote large, in combat chair he led the charge. Tiny rode on the beast's back, and soon believed he'd have a snack. The wall would need to be rebuilt, and till snarked and shirked his guilt, a rust monster had wrecked his lab, which left him acting quite the crab. Kitchen prepped the fallen frog for birthday feast with meat and grog, but Tedlin missed the food galore, for his barrel stuck in warehouse store. A note from Bob acclaimed delight, but Shifrost feared the future plight. Shady foes plot Smols' demise and gaze upon a clone surprise.
Well, hello everyone. Yuki here. Since Shifrost was super busy and missed a lot of what happened last time, as the other bard of the group, I'm here to give you a recap. And Groot here is going to help us, aren't you, Groot?
I am Groot.
He has such a lovely singing voice. All right, here we go! Hey there, welcome strangers galore. We got a couple new friends where once there were four. Armneus Slow, a cleric who tinks, and fate-hating magpie ranger thinks. Excuse Shifrost's fabulous skirt, rather dirty the apron and mess up the shirt. The box still gone, Oka-san's gotta greet. Now Groot give Yuki some downbeat. Hey now, says the life of a small. Just how do we get through it all? Hey now, we're in for a treat as we confuse everyone we meet. Woo! Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba. Fort whoosh, and here's a new job. What is the problem? Heavenly frogs? Oh wait, did you mean space toads? One thing Yuki learned is ouch, these things explode. Seems this was a countermeasure due to we men being a great displeasure. Hey Shifrost, wait, where did he go? To Baba Yaga's? Down the beer hole! Hey now, this is the life of a small. Just how do we get through it all? Hey now, we're in for a treat as we confuse everyone we meet. Woo! Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba. As the explosion nears, Puddin gets an idea. Perhaps a bean in this water so clear. Out pops a wooden friend to brighten our day. But instead of an ally, we have to run away. Particularly right into the path of those pesky gnomes, and, well, let's say this is the best part. Hey gang, who wants to take bets? Will the gnomes overtake that big angry ant? Wait, there's two groups piling onto that tree. No, wait, there they go. Oops, starting to flee. Time for Burp to enter the fray as Talon makes Puddin grow 3 sizes that day. A punch and a crack and the village is saved, but the place is a mess, so here we stay. Hey now, this is the life of a small. Just how do we get through it all? Hey now, we're in for a treat as we confuse everyone we meet. Woo! Hey now, this is the life of a small. Just how do we get through it all? This village we repair, but not before Yuki steals a gnome's underwear.
Oh, okay, hang on just a second. What is it? This is... Oh, report from Magpie over last mission. It's kind of thick, a little big. Okay, well, we see what they're up to. What did they get up to when I was occupied? Must remember to prank people for that. Let's see what they got. Okay, so let's see. A mission was stealing sheep. Okay, that seems simple enough. We say that a lot. We say seems simple enough. Yeah. Okay, so wait, there was a mage? Why could mage not take care of a few wolves? Group waiting about 3 months. Good grief, no wonder they gave it to us. Okay, let's see. They took teleporter, finally got there, saw wool. Oh, they didn't see wolves, they saw sheep. Okay, flock of sheep. And get quiet. Wolves came out and attacked flock. Only they appeared to be smart about it. That's definitely weird. Yes, okay. Some just distracted people, some went on okay. Fair enough. The wolves did not kill sheep? They carried them off like cubs? It always sounds simple, yes. Okay, anyway, so... wolves immediately run out after Magpie hit them with arrows. It's about right. So they only lost few sheep. Shepherds were happy about these. And shepherds told them a few stories about what has happened in the last few months to give them idea of what they were up against. Okay. Then they get back to town, run into town meeting. Everyone yelling at everyone else about exporting business, paperwork, and accountancy. Armines went to sit in quiet corner while group talked with... I can't make out their names. Must remember to have Magpie write a little clearer if you want these to be readable. Basically the town priest and town leaders. Okay. Got some basic information there. Went upstairs to talk to a person who survived an ambush by the wolves. The person seemed to be... the town called him addled. Yes, I would suppose if he gave it. Okay. He talked to him, learned that he thinks the wolves were talking. Talking wolves? Yeah. He's no make sense. No make sense. Anyway. And he had the breakdown, so they left. Fair enough. Yeah, so they go ask the priest, who was the okay, the priest was the brother of the mage that went missing. Wait, the mage went missing? Ah, yes, there it is. Mage went missing. So the brother took him to Mage's sleeping quarters. Only thing of note there was a small library. Yeah. A lot of chaos magic. I think I see where things go. Yes, chaos magic. It does no good for him. Okay. And let's see, so they didn't find anything else in there. They went outside. And a local showed them where. A local showed them where he'd seen eyes watching from forest. Magpie managed to find a trail from there, and they make it clearly into the. Make it cleanly into a forest. Yes. Owlbear ran by them with wolf in pursuit. After a while of trekking through forest, they managed to make it avoid stepping on tripwires, so that is good. Paying attention is always good. And a bunch of wolves were. Am I reading this right? Am I reading this right? Wolves working semi-complicated machines like looms? Did the owlbear hit Magpie on head before she wrote this? Are you sure? How do wolves operate loom with no thumbs? I kind of want to see that now. Yeah. And she swears this was what happened, yes. Other party members back it up. Fair enough. So while the group was looking at options, Diablo Diablo jump out and do dance to confuse wolves. Yeah, that's it. There were almost 20 wolves there. Diablo, what were you thinking? Wait, Diablo, thinking. I understand where that happens now. Okay. Luckily, it worked. The wolves, a few wolves managed to call out leaders. The group managed to parlay with leaders. Leaders showed them a rundown of what happened. I see now. Yes, okay. According to Magpie, the mage went out for a walk. The wolves attacked him. The mage tried to defend himself, and chaos magic did what chaos magic does and evaporated the mage and gave the wolves the ability to think. Ah, yes, this is the thing that happened. Also, Cat agrees with me. Diablo jumping in was dumb idea. Just making that official, yes. So, they show Magpie this. One of the leaders showed Magpie this. The other one... Which was it? The other one... Oh, yes, there we go. The other one managed to get angry that they were trying to work with humans and attack the leader that showed Magpie around. A small fight broke out. Leader was outmatched, went back Grabbed puppy to use as shield, is that right? Ugh. Survival instincts did not kick in there. Ugh. Never use young as shield. It rarely works in your favor. But the quick sleep spell from Yuki was able to subdue Angry Wolf, and they managed to tie up Wolf, and after they tie up Wolf, they go back, revive leader that had been injured, and escort him back to town, and the wolves began negotiations. End of story, everybody happy, get a little extra pay for trouble. Everything turned out pretty well. Maybe I do not have to stick neck out nearly as often. Yes? No, I still have to go out. I was afraid you'd say that. Oh well. Anyway, good to know group is able to handle things. Good to know. I'm definitely not going to try to abuse this to stay home instead of go and get in fights. Definitely not going to do that. What do you mean you don't believe me? What do you know? I gotta get back to the kitchen. Ramsey is about to mess up the entire lunch rush again. Let's hope.
What is this strange ball thing? What is this? Is this some sort of wizardry? Oh, you want Oko-san to talk into it, do you? What do you want Oko-san to talk about? The one-true pudding? No? Oh, you want Oko-san to talk about the time that he was given mail. Ah, yes. Oko-san got mail one time. It was filled with fantastic mail for El Pudding Diablo. But Oko-san was also given a book. It was a very strange book. I have it right here. Even though Magpie took it, I found it again. Omelette du fromage. C'est à le milieu, livré tout le temps. My sweet Magpie leprosy. Excuse me, Oko-san must go to the bathroom. Buenos dias. Yo soy El Pudding Diablo. So, you wish to hear about my last mission, do you? Well, me and my friends, my comrades in arms, were notified by that rapscallion Percy that various fighters were disappearing. And luckily, I had a match coming up anyway. So we went to the ring, to the legendary squared circle, where El Pudding Diablo worked his craft. My match was against that most honorable opponent, Crandall Disaster, who is filled with strength and honor. I fought him gloriously, and it was a close match. He defeated me, but it was a defeat with honor, and one day I will surpass him. I didn't see much of what my comrades in arms were doing, but I think it involved some sort of mechanical man. After the match, we found under the ring there was some sort of mad medicine man, and with him was Stubby the Stomper. that most dishonorable cur. Stubby wished to fight me before his rematch, and had gotten some improvements apparently. He'd been using illegal enhancements of some kind. It took us much effort and using one of the magic beans, but we defeated Stubby, and we defeated the mad scientist, and thus we restored honor to the ring. And that is the most recent story of one of my recent adventures. I'm sure that we will have more adventures to come, me and my glorious comrades.
Log date. Day of the Fawn, half moon. Today, we got on a ship with Stark. He gave us these magic items in case of an emergency, and also to prank Chifros by turning him into a chicken. Then Okasan used his magic book to turn into 3 different people, because of course he did. Anyway, we set out looking for 2 people. A kobold named Tim, and a duchess, who turned out to be a fey hag. But not before we saw the Gearheart again, and Magpie knew I was part of it. When did I tell her that? After all of that, another thing happened. We went to a mining tunnel, and Okusan drank this cinnamon water that somehow made him think he was a god? I don't know, I give up figuring him out. So, we found a war machine, and it was super cool. It had turrets and a grappling claw and chairs, because I know how chairs work. I know how a vehicle works. I'm doing it again, aren't I? We got chased by goblins and a giant worm, which was, oh my gosh, terrifying. But Magpie piloted the vehicle on it, the worm, and drove us to safety. Now we're all sort of recovering from that chaos, and I guess waiting for our next mission. I mean, the chaos never really stops, but I can pretend, right? At least I'm doing a good job, I think. I'm still alive. How much more dangerous can it get after driving on a worm monster?
Come in.
Hey, Doc. You wanted to see me?
Yes. I've wanted to see you ever since, well, Tiny started to go around the guild doing inquiries about a couple of months ago.
Yeah, sorry. Just kind of, adventuring jobs, that sort of thing, kind of couldn't really make it in as much as I tried. Um, I mean, I'm sure you heard the news that, we did it. We beat the harvest.
I caught it in the news sheets. A master strig called Crandall defeated the harvest
Well,
lord.
what happened was, it was actually one of our jobs. We met Crandall. He's kind of a rival to El Puddin Diablo now, and he kind of wants to fight El Puddin Diablo and is probably going to follow him around, so you're going to be hearing a lot more of him.
That's
Um,
the second time. The first time was in that unofficial job notice you sent my way.
yeah.
It's probably best you keep those on the down and down. The boss man ain't too happy about those type of jobs.
That's why I didn't journal about that one. I just let you know so you had it for your file and it wasn't on the books. I know when not to to tattle on things. But yeah, the underground fighting was the first time we met Crandall. Believe me, kind of glad we took that job because there was some shady stuff going on that one too.
Yes.
But yeah, but officially, that's the first time we met Crandall.
Just checking through my notes here, and it's even noting by numerous members of the crew he was hiding in the mess hall behind a
Yes.
stick.
Yes, you're gonna love this. He's actually dumber than Okasan.
Yeah,
He is legitimately dumber than Okasan.
if I was continuing my ways and my people, if I tried to eat the brains of either of those two, I'd starve.
I think you'd actually lose nutrition with Crandall. But that's besides the point. Also, I'm sure you saw that your little attempt to disconnect Baba Yaga not only failed horribly, but we all got swept into that mess.
Yes, checking through my notes, and it's well, that's basically down to everyone jumping on Sleepwell when he was grabbed.
We were trying to pull him away, and apparently that might have been meant for me too, because of my history with the Lord of the Harvest.
It's you can see as he screws up his nose and just throws him into the bin. Let's keep this off the box because I'm not looking. It's giving me a headache already.
Hey, whatever you need to do, Doc. This one was an official mission, though, so I did have to note it down. We did get something out of it, though. The Queen of Night gave us a boon. Those arrows.
If I understand correctly, the boon was to complete the job. For completing the job, the arrows were just a means to do it. And a boon from... Okay, again, confusing notes from the different reports and...
The Lord of Autumn, sir.
Okay, the Lord of Autumn and the Queen of... Okay,
Summer.
The King and Queen of the Courts, they're not my area.
They are mine, sir, and believe me, that's kind of a big deal that the King and Queen of two of the seasonal courts, the husband and wife team, basically looked at our little group and the trio and went, "Here, we're going to give you a little hand," because apparently something even Cervantes wouldn't have known. I sure as hell didn't until they told me. Lord of the Harvest was stepping out of his bounds a bit too much.
Yes, as you noticed, but there's one important thing I feel I really should touch on. It's how are you handling this?
I've got a bit of an existential crisis. On the one hand, I'm happy we won. Lord of the Harvest ain't appearing for 1,000 years now. But the Lord of Autumn noted two of us. Yuki and me. I don't know why he noted Yuki. I don't know much about her history. He just said you're interesting. Not always a good thing with Faye, obviously. If you look at my arm, he noted this.
That's an interesting mark.
It's my birthmark. I've had it. But the Lord of Autumn said something odd. He said, "No wonder he likes you." Here's the thing. Who's the he he's talking about?
if I understand it,
Because,
understand it correctly, there's only so many higher and lower lords and ladies, but there's possibly so many other areas. Just by assumption, it comes in with the different types of fae. It could be a fairy king. It could be some dryad out there.
I'm afraid he means the Lord of the Hunt.
The Lord of the Hunt, as in the Wild Hunt.
Yep.
There have been reports of the Wild Hunt partaking in this realm a few times.
A few people in Pixie Ward have seen it with their own eyes.
It's quite a sight, and as far as I understand it, the Lord of the Hunts is usually doing cleanup, making sure the things that shouldn't be in this realm stay off this realm.
It is also said that if the Lord of the Hunt sees you and takes an interest in you, you're never coming back.
It's been noted in your file that you disappeared in as a baby.
What?
Something about disappearance in your youth?
I was never told about that.
So where did this note come from? Since all this information should be coming from you.
My family must have sent it. May I see it?
Passes it over.
She looks it over. Does it look like familiar handwriting? Does it?
It looks definitely like familiar handwriting.
My family sent this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Doc, this is not good. This is not good at all. I thought this was just a birthmark. I thought I was just born with this damn thing.
This is very curious, and I will do my best to support you through this. Of course, you do understand the facilities of the guild are here to assist you in any matter they needs to.
I know I said this with the harvest and I was wrong, but knowing that you tried this with Shifrost and Baba Yaga, I don't think there's anything you can't do.
Except for maybe find answers.
I've been trying. That bastard took me as a baby. How did they get me back? I should be long gone. Damn it. What is it with my family and the Fae? I mean, the Harvest King did something to Malcolm and he's gone. I think Malcolm was a sibling of mine. And the Lord of the Hunt wanted to take me as a kid? As a baby?
All I know is what I'm presented with.
I know, Doc. I know. I'm kind of in the same boat as you right now. Why would the Lord of the Hunt give me up so easily and mark me with an arrow?
Much like the machinations of dragons and demons and devils, you'll never understand what the Fae drive to.
And on top of that, apparently I'm invited to Lord Midnight's fancy schmancy dinner.
Oh, a high honor indeed. I take it you're going out to find yourself a nice dress for that?
Doc, don't mention the word dress to me ever again. I don't like fancy things. I don't really trust nobles that much. I know a noble runs a guild, but you get the idea. I ain't exactly, fancy, you know? And there's another problem. I'm sure Granny Midnight's a sweetheart and a half. It sounds like she is. Her grandson's what scares the living bejesus out of me.
As much as I would like to continue this, my little egg timer here tells me my time has run out, and there's someone else waiting for me, waiting for my their appointment. But I will gladly pencil in for another appointment as soon as possible.
Thank you, Doc. Hopefully nothing else weird happens. I don't need another headache for a while. I'm gonna go back.
Of course, you know where to find me if you need me.
I know, Doc. Thank you.
And I bid thee a good day, and may it work out in a way that's more agreeable to you.
Well, at least we can officially say the harvest ain't happening for 1,000 years, so silver linings, I guess.
There is that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for yours, Doc.